Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle, and I'm here to talk to you today about my first experience driving with Uber. And it was really interesting. So basically, I started off by getting all my required documentation. So I got my driver's license, which, by the way, after I got married, I had to send two copies of my license. The first one they rejected. They said that I didn't have 2 years that show of driving experience. The second copy, thank God, I saved an old driver's license and they accepted that one, which is interesting because it said void right across the top. But so my license passed. They did a full background check. I passed that. The next step after that basically was what I thought actually was going to be where I would submit my form for my car, showing that it was in mechanically sound condition. Well, they put my account to active before I submitted the required documentation. So I found that to be very interesting. But long story short, I finished the process. If you want me to get more into it, please let me know. But I finished the process and boom, I was live. So I thought, okay, I want to talk about my thoughts, my feelings, and how my experience was from a female perspective because I saw so much research before I started before I went live. I wanted to make sure that I did my research, and I found tons of male drivers, but hardly any females. So, and I didn't really hear a lot about their experience. So, again, this is my first ride that I'm talking about. I'm sure there's going to be more to come, but this is just my first ride. So, required documentation, check. Then I did a major overhaul in my car. I went through and I detailed the heck out of it. After watching some videos, I decided I was not going to do snacks because I do not want to vacuum any more than I already am. So I didn't do snacks. What I did do was I purchased a big thing of water from Walmart, and I only put like I think 4 or 5 bottles in the glove compartment. I noticed that water takes up space. So my car's small enough as it is, and I figured like if I had more than two people, I don't want cartons of water sitting around annoying everybody. So I just kept what I needed in the glove box. I took all of my personal belongings that mattered and kept them out. I wore a fake wedding ring. I did not want to you know, worst case scenario, I don't want my wedding ring robbed. It's not the most fancy of rings, but I did not want it taken. So I just put on another ring that I had and called it a day. The other thing was I took my purse out of the car. So ladies, I don't know how big your purses are. Mine's not obnoxious, but I did notice that purses take up space. And I tried sitting in different areas of my car before I went live, and I noticed that the purse took up too much. It just made my mobility limited, and I didn't want my purse. So I left the purse at home, and I just kept my license and a credit card with me, and I put it in like my driver's seat, like right next to me. So I did that, and I also kept with me a pair of scissors. I don't know, I'll call that like a gut safety kind of reaction. And my coworker at work, she recommended also to bring a second GPS system. So I actually have an older Garmin, and I made sure that was charged, and I kept that in my vehicle. Reason being, I heard that sometimes the navigation within the Uber app kind of goes haywire sometimes. So I made sure to have a second backup just in case. So I had that done. That box was checked. As far as the radio, I just had all my presets ready, and I just kept it like a bit at very low. I had my windows cracked just because that's the way I like it, but I did offer. You'll hear down the road my experience about that, but I offered to roll them up. Anyways, I had my car ready to go. It was all detailed. I had the water. I had my second GPS system. I had my means of self-defense, which is pretty laughable. And then I had just my basic paperwork and necessities. I kept all my driver's paperwork, though, in the glove box. So I did that as well. So next, I had the big choice. I was kind of nervous, and I made an idiot out of myself. I thought, well, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to the airport, go into available, and then that way I'll get like a lucrative drive. And then I thought, you know what? I don't want to deal with like all the craziness of the airport, and it's my first drive, and I feel like that's too much. I heard it's first come, first serve. I don't even really know what that means. So then I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay locally. So I got about halfway to the airport, not even half, probably a quarter way to the airport, and I flipped my status into available. And lo and behold, within like 30 seconds, I got a message or a notification saying, you've got somebody. So I accepted it, and I turned around, and it was right back about 2 miles from where I actually live. So that was okay. I kind of was like, this is good. I know the area. I'm okay. And I did that. And I noticed the addresses for an apartment complex, and I'm thinking, I don't know how this is going to work. If you pull in the apartment and there's no, like, what's the complex number? It was kind of confusing. So I just drove in, and it was neat though, because on the app, you'll see like a mark where you're at and then a mark where the person is. So I was like, okay, I'm just getting closer and closer. And it worked. And I saw, and also I should say the name shows up. So the name showed up as a female name. I'm like, oh, yay, my first driver is going to be a female. I have something to talk to her about. And it was an older gentleman, much older, an elderly gentleman who actually was on a cane. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It was harmless enough, and the area was so good. I didn't think anything twice about it, and I let him in, and I'm like, hey, and he said, hey, Uber driver? I'm like, yeah. So he got in, and then he quickly explained that his wife was the one that handles all of the technology and everything, so that's why it showed her name, but it was him. It was all right. All he wanted to do, actually, was go to the local grocery store, so we went to that store. He needed to pick up some meds or drop off some meds or medications or something at the pharmacy. So, mistake number one, this is me being stupid. I should have researched this, and I want to hear your opinions on this. When I dropped him off, I switched my status to like I completed I completed the trip, which I think I should have stayed ready or stayed unavailable, but just stayed on the actual screen I was on. And that way I would be getting paid to wait, which I think makes more sense. So I don't know if that's the correct way to do it, or if the way is to basically, go into offline, wait for them to get back, request another trip, and then that way and then start from there. Confusing. So I think I screwed up either way. So, and please let me know what you did to do it the right way. I don't know if this is common, if most people want a trip to, and if there's a way they can set up multiple destinations. I don't know. I haven't got that far into it, and I need to do that research. So unfortunately, and it was my own darn fault. I thought I would just take the bite on this. When he got back in the car, I said, "Oh, I accidentally ended the trip." And he's like, "Oh, he doesn't have a cell phone. His wife is the one that has it at home." So it was only like 2 miles away, so I said the heck with it, and I just gave him a ride back. And I thought, I'm really not doing this trip for the money. This trip is going to be for the experience and a learning experience. So thank God that I had it happen earlier rather than later. Lesson learned, note taken, and I will do it differently next time. But it wasn't weird. I had no odd comments that were said. The conversation went really well. I really think that this type of job is going to depend on a lot on how well you can communicate with somebody without knowing much about them, how to make small talk without being nosy, and how to realize when people don't really want to talk. They just want to do their own thing. So that's what I'm interested in finding out. So overall experience went fine. It was like my heart was like pounding. It was kind of nerve wracking. One other thing that I did notice was that I had my cleaning supplies in my trunk, and I scooched them back in the corner thinking like, okay, if I need them, they're right there. Bad idea. They made a ton of noise like in the back rolling around, and I think the guy was like, what the heck does she have in her trunk? So I got rid of that. But I think the trip went fine. He's like, I'm going to have my wife give you 5 stars. This all went really well. I'm super happy. So that was good. I'm glad that I got I'm waiting still for the rating. It's only been like an hour, so who knows? If I get a rating, I do. If not, again, learning experience. So, I gave him 5 stars as a driver. I thought the experience was enjoyable, nerve-wracking, but enjoyable. So I'm wanting to hear more thoughts from a female's perspective on your safety, if you've had any weird instances, and what do you do, and has Uber backed you up, I guess, on what, if you had something go wrong and you had to drop them off, end the trip, and make a call to Uber, did they back you up, and did they say, yeah, you did the right thing, here's some tips? Do they give you tips for in the future? That's what I'm curious about. So I did make the rule for myself, and I'm not here to judge or tell people obviously how to live their life at all. I'm just telling you what works for me, from my comfort level, is that I thought I would only work from sun up, after the sun was up, to sundown, and just do that instead of having to worry about really intoxicated guys at night. I thought working during the day, I'd get more business class people, or maybe even elderly people like I had today. Maybe that's just the area, but I'm really curious to see and or I'm really curious to see and to hear everybody's experience here on YouTube and what your experience as a female driver's been like. So I will keep you all posted. I'll try to do this once a week and let you know, if there's anything I do run into and how it's going. And I'm not even going to talk about the money portion of it yet because obviously I didn't do diddly squat today because it was my own darn fault. So overall, great experience. The process was fairly simple, and I hope I was helpful and just kind of putting it out there. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.